This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, there he is. We're not going to hear any extra noises during this. I
did not. I did not go to Skyline last night. On the recommendation of Ben Baby, we went to I think it's called the Eagle OTR over the Rhine neighborhood. Had some good chicken, great sides, like real Southern comfort food type deal.
Okay.
Did not. We passed by Skyline Chili. I don't know if there. I assume there's more than one. We passed by one downtown.
Did you even get a? Did you even break some wind just by going by?
There was nobody in it. I think it was closed, but there's definitely nobody in it. And I had said out loud, I think I've been talked out of actually going. I think I'm good. Like chili on top of spaghetti with onions, something's not. It's not sitting right. And then when we got out the car, our Uber driver said, you got to go try it. So I'm back. I am 50-50. I'm probably not going to do it before the game though, because like I've had an upset stomach in the press box before and it's not fun. No. So I think I'm just going to, maybe it's still open after. I'm going to take it as a sign from God.
Marcel, my wife loves chili. Okay.
Yeah.
And I took her to Skyline when we had it here. And I go, hey, man, they say, this is amazing chili. Why don't you try it? And she was like, this is so mediocre and overrated. And she's kind of, a chili connoisseur. And so she goes, yeah, this is all hype. This is all this is. This is because it's a franchise, and so it's just not, like the kind of maybe if you have some kind of family member that makes some good chili, that you're not getting that at that place, bro. You're just.
I'll tell you what though. The city of Cincinnati. I'm looking at I was trying to set the camera up so y'all could see too, but that's just not how cameras work. I'm looking at the Cincinnati skyline right now. That skyline is not overrated. That skyline is beautiful. Man, I'm staying right across the river from the stadium. I see Paul Brown Stadium on the left. It's been lit up in orange at nighttime. It's got this glow to it. Really cool overhang over the top as well. Like it's a cool looking stadium right on the water. A lot of buildings, a good cluster of buildings, and then of course Great American Ballpark, which is an American institution of baseball, right next to it here. Like it's a cool little city, man. Like man. Cool little areas. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Rolling hills all around. I'm pleasantly surprised. After the disappointment that was Baltimore, I am pleasantly surprised by Cincinnati. Baltimore, I think, is on par with Detroit, but Detroit, I think I'm even going to give the edge to Detroit because at least Detroit knows what it is. Baltimore feels like it's trying to fool somebody into thinking it's anything but what it is.
Yeah. No, in Baltimore,
I'm going to try to hedge the disrespect.
And Detroit has that music scene, so it kind of helps out a little bit there. But yeah, Cleveland, Detroit, and Baltimore are kind of those depressing like cities a little bit, because it's it's very.
It's not. There's no flash to any of them, but I do like Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a good food city. I always have a good time when I'm there. You got to go with like a certain mindset, right? Like you have to go knowing, all right, like I'm hitting some dive bars, like I'm getting grimy with some Browns fans. I'm probably, gonna have to have the coffee waiting for me in the room afterwards. It's probably gonna be a long night. Like you got to know what you get yourself into when you go to Cleveland. Like at Baltimore, it was just like, oh, okay, this is the harbor.
And that's it.
Cool. I think that my hotel room was bad. I think if your hotel room is bad, it sets a tone for the whole experience, man. I had like old carpet, yellow walls, not even yellow, like yellow orange. I think I'm colorblind. If you remember from the last show, no artwork. Didn't get NBC on my 26-inch TV. I was like, all right, man, I want to go home. This is nice, though. This is
Yeah, no,
nice.
I've been to Cincinnati. It's a good place. Good people too, man. Whether it's Cleveland or Cincinnati, good people. I it's just for Cleveland. I just don't find enough of a nightlife there. When I've gone, it's like it's kind of light on the nightlife there. But that's all right. I mean, maybe I don't know where to go. So
I
that's
know a couple
probably
spots. I know a couple spots in Cleveland. There's a dive bar I always go to. I do not know what it's called. All I know is how to get there. Like if you
uh,
drop me in downtown Cleveland, if you drop me in the arcade, then I could get there. It's about a 10-15 minute walk. No idea what it's called, but
what's
always a good time.
what's it called? The Flats, right? The area over there, right? Is that called the Flats or something?
I
Where all
know
the
the
bars at?
arcade. I know the arcade. The arcade is where I have those like it's like a big indoor mall, sort of like with the glass ceiling and the atrium that comes through. There's a
Hmm.
hotel there. I usually try to stay. I think it's a Hyatt actually, so I don't try to stay there anymore. But Team Marriott over here. But arcade's a cool area. It's got a restaurant called Butcher and the Brewer. Delicious. I go every time I'm in Cleveland. But
By
I
the way,
usually hang out there.
have you eaten at the Butcher Shop down here in Miami for the
I have not.
burgers?
I have
Really?
not. I
And
haven't. I need better burgers in Miami. I haven't started the burger tour yet, but I think
Winwood,
it's about time. Oh,
Winwood,
perfect.
bro.
That's
It's
right
called
around the corner.
it's called the Butcher Shop. You haven't been to the Butcher Shop in Winwood?
That's the one next to Koyo,
Wow.
right?
I think it is actually. I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah, then I gotta go.
they got a whole meat market there and everything, and all the meat is there fresh. You see it, and dude, the butcher shop is really good, man. They do a nice job with their burgers. So
Yeah, I
that's
gotta check it out.
yeah, man. That's definitely a place. All right. So tonight it's almost like we say, okay, we look at the yards that this team has given up and points and all that. And in the Ravens game, they gave up a bunch of points, but then in the second half and especially in the fourth quarter, they put a chokehold on Lamar in that offense, and they could only muster 3 points. They only had 7 in the third quarter, and they had 21 in the second. I don't know if you know this stat, but do you know that Miami has allowed 59 points in the first half and 18 points so far in the second half of these 3 games, and 13 of them in the third quarter and only 5 in the fourth quarter. So while the defense has bent a lot, it has not broken every time. Marcel, it's been amazing. Whatever yards they gave up to Josh Allen, and whatever points and yards they gave up to Lamar, when push came to shove down the stretch, they found a way to shut both of those guys out and keep them out of the end zone and keep their team in the win column. What's that say about that defense? Because a lot of people are talking about the points and the yards they're giving up. I don't think enough people are talking about the damn plays they're making at the end of games to finish these things out.
It's all up here. It's mental. It's mental toughness. If you look at this defense, ever since I've covered them for the past couple of years, that's
You're
kind of
right.
been their motto: is bend but don't break. When the field shrinks, they get tough. When the field shrinks, they grow. I mean, Baltimore found that out, and that's not just red zone and goal line situations. It's fourth and short as well. Lamar Jackson is a cheat code on fourth and short. He's a cheat code in the red zone. They stopped him goal line stand. He fumbled, but they stopped him in the goal line stand. They stopped him again on a huge fourth and two later in the second half. Josh Allen, the NFL's preeminent red zone threat, stuffed with the game on the line, stopped with the game on the line at the goal line. So it's a trademark of this defense to rise to the occasion when the field shrinks. It's bend but don't break. You hear a lot of defenses preach it. Even fewer are actually successful at running it. This defense is one that is successful at running it.
Amen to that. I mean, and again, not just the secondary. Today, this is another thing that the Jets last week, they only got 2 sacks. They have 5 on the season. They're 27th in the NFL. Dallas is number 1 in the NFL with 13 sacks. They got 6 of them against the Bengals. Pittsburgh is 8th in the NFL in sacks. They've got 9 sacks. They got 7 of them versus the Bengals. Miami is 24th in sacks with 6. Tonight's the night to get healthy with those sacks, like Pittsburgh, like Dallas has. The Jets couldn't because the Jets really don't. They're not a great pass rush team. But Miami does have. Miami, should they? Should the Jets be?
They should be. If with everybody healthy, they really should be. With Quinnen Williams, with Carl Lawson, with C.J. Mosley, like they do have the horses to get after the passer, and they do have a defensive-minded coach. Like it doesn't make sense for them to be a bad defense 2 years into Robert Saleh. You can get your guys in there, and then you can coach them up. Shoot, man, Mike McDaniel is telling me that you can quickly get a team to play in your image. So I think the Jets should be better at rushing the passer, but it's kind of a sidebar. We'll not worry about that till next week.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm not worried about that. If I wasn't worried about the Patriots, I'm not worried about the Jets whatsoever. I'll worry about the Bengals. But do you think today? Okay, they've got 6 on the season. All right, how much do they get today? And do they get out? Because, hey, man, Burrow hangs on to the ball. He has taken a crap ton of sacks. Obviously, I just told you right there, that's 15 sacks from those 3 teams against him. So he's getting sacked at least 5 times. So the over and under is 5. What do you say about that, Marcel Louis-Jacques?
It's tough. Like I see it both ways here because, on one hand, the defense did just play 90 snaps against Buffalo. That's not insignificant. It's the highest number of snaps a defense has played in a non-overtime game in NFL history. And then on a short week, they got to come to Cincinnati. It's not insignificant that, they're going to be tired. They're going to be beat up. At the same time, when you look at the numbers, you mentioned the sack numbers. I want to talk rates a little bit. They blitz at the 6th highest rate in the NFL. They're winning their pass rushes at the 5th highest rate in the NFL. 22 pressures against Buffalo last week alone. In 90 snaps or in 50 snaps, I don't care. 22 pressures is 22 pressures. The sack numbers aren't there, but if you're doing things like winning your rushes and you're being aggressive and you're creating pressure, I'm not so worried about the sacks because sacks are not necessarily indicative of a successful pass rush. They're just the most glamorous stats of a successful pass rush. If you're getting home, if you're providing pressure, then the sacks will come. That's just, it's a byproduct of the pressure and the aggression that you bring to the table. And the Bengals are allowing sacks on 10.6% of Joe Burrow's dropbacks. If you're going to get right, it's going to be tonight. If you're going to get right, it's going to be against a O-line and a quarterback that has struggled to protect and that has struggled to see pressure coming. I don't necessarily see Miami distancing themselves from their definitive strategy, from their defining strategy. I expect them to be aggressive. I expect them to try to force Burrow into quick decisions, and I expect them to keep the ball in front of them like they've done throughout the season outside of one play, the Rashard Bateman touchdown. So, like I said, there's 2 sides to it because on one end I can see, okay, this is a chance for the Bengals online to get right against a tired defense, or this is a chance for that same tired defense to take advantage of an advantageous matchup. So, something's got to give, one thing or the other here.
And by the way, of course, this segment is brought to you by Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com and get an energy drink that is delicious, smooth, and has 0 aftertaste. 0 aftertaste. And by the way, we're going to be serving some of that Edge at our Miami Hurricanes pre- and post-game shows at Walk-Ons in Kendall. So make sure you come on out and take a taste test out there with us. And of course, order it. You can't get it in a store. You got to go online. myedgedrink.com. Use our code BIG-O and get 10% off your order. All right, Marcel, we look at this matchup, and Tyreek and Eli Apple are already a thing. And by the way, I love that Tua said and comes out, hey, man, if he's with him one-on-one, I'm going to take my chances. And
I am giving him the ball. I am giving Tyreek the ball. Just like that. Ain't no, I'm taking my chances. If that's a good weed like that, it is. Yeah, if they tell Tyreek one-on-one, I am giving Tyreek the ball. He basically said, "Are you nuts? What have you not learned from the past 7 years?" That's what I'm saying. So the Bengals secondary is mad about this. Like they didn't like Tyreek's comments. They got their boys back, this, that, and the third. They might be mad, but they're not crazy. You're not gonna put Eli Apple on Tyreek one-on-one with no safety help.
Yeah.
No. You can be as mad as you want. You can talk all you want. You are going to show that man the respect that he has deserved from his NFL career. Though you are gonna roll a safety over the top, or you're gonna watch him throw the do sign up at you as he runs for 65 yards.
Yeah.
So cool rivalry. I love that. Job back and forth. I want to see it all game. The Bengals want to see, the fans want to see it. The nation wants to see it. But I promise you that Bengals fans do not want to see Eli Apple one-on-one with Tyreek with no safety help over the top, because it's automatic. It's a layup. You want to, Colin Cowherd talking about layups. That's a layup right there. And I think they would make that happen.
The Waddle situation, now that you're looking at who you're going up against today and tonight, Jamar Chase. So narratives were created for Tua that have been pretty much all shot down already. Narratives may be created for Chris Greer. That's been shot down, maybe even for Mike McDaniel. But narratives were created by some for Waddle. Those of us with intelligence, we try to explain to people the line doesn't give Tua much time. You can't play Waddle like you did in Alabama downfield. So then they're watching Jamar Chase put up all these monster numbers with Joe Burrow, but all of a sudden now, Waddle's putting up the monster numbers. He's going downfield. He's playing a lot like Alabama. Why? Because Armstead, Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, and the boys are giving Tua what they didn't give him last year, was time to pass the ball. So explain to me, why are narratives created when you don't understand the facts and the reality?
But I'm not sure. I was watching certain programming.
But you heard that silly shit last year, right? About Waddle. Oh, he's a 6-yard receiver. Oh, why'd they draft him? They should have drafted Chase. And they would have done the same thing with Chase last year. He would have played the same way last year because he would have had no choice.
Numbers are important here. Numbers and context are important. Last season, Jalen Waddle played 50% of his snaps from the slot. He split 50 in the slot, and I think it was 42 out wide, and whatever the rest is in the backfield or scattered throughout the backfield. This season, 80% out wide, 20% in the slot. You seen the difference? I've seen the difference. It's not the player. It's not, just the player as much as it is how they're being used. 80% of his snaps, it's double the snaps that he saw last year, double the percentage of snaps he saw last season, now outside where he belonged from the jump. He's not a slot receiver. He's not a guy that you just use to move the chains. He's a legitimate downfield threat. He's a guy who can run every route in the tree. And he's a guy who can do God knows what with the ball in his hands, no matter where you put it in his hands. So I think this coaching staff came into this and said, yeah, we don't really have much in the cupboard, but we do have that guy. What did we hear Mike McDaniel talk about for the first week or two, maybe even month after he was hired? I love Jalen Waddle. I would draft Jalen Waddle on my fantasy team. Jalen Waddle's going to be drunk off the yak. Like people don't lie. I think I said it on the show before, man. NFL coaches, NFL teams, sometimes they tell you exactly what they're thinking. Sometimes they tell you the truth. And if Mike McDaniel drafts Jalen Waddle, so did I. I drafted Jalen Waddle too, man. I laughed. Everybody I'm in an auction league, draft, everybody in there bidding on Tyreek Hill. It's not a horrible idea. I got Jalen Waddle for half the price. I was like, you guys go ahead. I'll be fine over here.
It's just, these are this. It's like, but they painted him into this picture. Some people did, like, oh no, he's more of a possession guy. He's not. And it's like, come on, man. Look how limited that offense is. And that's the thing, by the way. Last year made me respect Jalen Waddle even more because he showed you, yeah, of course I'm the explosive guy and all that. But if I need to be the tough guy in the inside and get the tough yardage and help you move the chains and play in small, compact areas, I can do that too. And to me, that was actually something big last year for Jalen Waddle, because he showed me he can be a completely different receiver than he was at Alabama. Not that I want him to be that, by the way, okay? I want him on the outside because that's where he belongs with Tyreek. But it's nice to know that you can move him around, and if you need him and to terrorize somebody in the slot, well, then go ahead. You can put him in there because he's comfortable there too. So I like that too.
Yeah, like do what is best for this. Do what's best for your offense, man. It doesn't make sense having them, play so exclusively in the slot. Like last year, I think fans can agree it was an unimaginative Dolphins offense. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think this is a highly intelligent offensive coaching staff, and we're seeing the results here on game day.
All right. Last week, you go up against what's it called? Diggs, Davis, and McKenzie. Tonight, you're going up against Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. So, Mr. Buffalo Bills fan, who's got the better receiving core? Is Miami facing a better receiving core this week, or a slightly, because it has to be, the difference has to be hairs, or is it a slightly less receiving core tonight?
What? Are you nuts? This is the best receiver trio in the NFL. This is better than Buffalo.
I don't know,
better
bro.
than Buffalo.
Okay, no, but I don't know. The Bills Mafia might be mad at you for saying that. I got to make sure.
The Bills don't even have a better 1-2 than the Dolphins. They're not the best 1-2 in the division.
Well, no, the Dolphins have the best 1-2 in the NFL.
So,
you're right. You would say that,
Isaiah
right?
Yes. Well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not top three, but top two for sure.
No. Actually, they have the top three. The Cincinnati Bengals have the top three.
Yeah.
Probably.
This is, of course, man. All three of these guys have had 1,000-yard receivers or 1,000-yard seasons under their belt.
Yeah.
Like they are dangerous. They're dangerous.
Okay.
So no, that's no, man. Like I know they kind of made, Isaiah McKenzie at times look like Tyler Boyd, but he's not Tyler Boyd. Gabe Davis, between Gabe Davis and T. Higgins, push, but T. Higgins has proven he can sustain production, over the course of the season. And then I don't know, Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs might be a push. Man,
yeah,
I might take Diggs, but it's close enough that I don't think you're going to be chastised either way.
Oh, I would take Diggs over Chase. Oh yeah, of course.
I'd probably take Diggs. Like I said, I'd probably take Diggs, but it's close enough that again, if somebody said I'm taking Jamar Chase, like you're not going to
right.
choke
You're not
them
gonna,
out for it.
You're not going to be insulted. I mean? No.
It's not like if somebody's saying, "Oh, I'll take Tyler Boyd over Jalen Waddle," and you're like, "What are you talking about?" But if you say, "Yeah, I'll take Jamar Chase over Stephon Diggs," it's close enough that
yeah.
No
even though I would take Diggs over Chase, but then there's no doubt the other two are way superior over the other two from the Bills. So that's the difference there overall. So having said that, now the challenge for this defense, is it harder or is it about the same? Because one, you're facing a better receiving core, but I would say this: you were facing a better front with the Bills than you are with the Bengals when it comes to the offensive line and the group protecting Burrow compared to the group protecting Allen. Plus, Allen himself, oh my God, he's an athletic Sasquatch. You have to catch him. You have to try to tackle him. Those things are difficult to do with that guy. Joe Burrow, not difficult to catch, not difficult to tackle, and that front. So how do you compare what Miami is facing tonight compared to what they were facing last week?
Look, man, anytime if you're facing a guy like Josh Allen, if you're facing a guy like Lamar Jackson, there aren't really comparable challenges. here. I don't really care who skill players are, what line is playing. It doesn't matter to me because that singularity makes things difficult. So Josh Allen by himself is a tougher challenge, different challenge, but I think a tougher challenge than going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not to say that they're chopped liver, not at all, but I think Buffalo skill players, like this is a better wide receiver trio, but Josh Allen is so much better of a quarterback, or so much better of a player than anybody they have on their roster here in Cincinnati, that it evens and elevates the Bills offense over what they've got here. But I mean, how
much does Joe Mixon make a difference? Because he's better than Buffalo's running backs.
He's better than Buffalo's running backs, but Devin Singletary has gotten significantly better during his first 3 years in the NFL. He's not Joe Mixon.
Mixon didn't have a line last year and went 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, he's not Joe Mixon. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. But I think that highly of Josh Allen, and I think that the NFL fans, media probably agrees that Josh Allen is that much of a difference maker that even though they have better skill players here in Cincinnati, they don't have Josh Allen. Okay. And therefore, it's a different type of challenge. It's a more traditional game.
All right, I know you
catch my drift.
I know you got to go. Give me a prediction, and we will see you in the post-game show.
I've got Dolphins 28-24.
Love it.
Count
All right. And follow him on ESPN. I'm sure his pretty face will be on TV today, talking about the marquee Miami Dolphins that he's now on the beat. Marcel, much love. We'll talk to you in a happy post-game show tonight.
See y'all in about 12 hours.
You know it, baby. There you go. We work. Be good. There is Marcel Louis-Jacques. Remember, you can get the finest energy drink on the planet in a store. You can get it right to your house. Go to myedgedrink.com and order delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Say it with me. This is an energy drink that is delicious, smooth, and has zero aftertaste and only 78 calories. You're going to love it. You're going to remember me forever. And as an elixir, oh my God, it is so good to mix. So good to mix. I love my vodka and my Edge. Woo. I'll have some of that this weekend when I'm off, relaxing. Okay? I'm actually going to sit back and relax with an Edge and vodka and sit back in my backyard that Cutter's Edge redesigned, and with the doggies and the wife hanging out and enjoying a weekend where I can just kick back and relax and just, take it in that the Dolphins are 4-0 after beating the Bengals on Thursday. That's what I'm going to do. But seriously, if you want a great energy drink, go to myedgedrink.com, use our code Big O and get 10% off. Now you have the edge.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.